Welcome, friends, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Optimal Health Program. Hope you're all doing well. As you know, today we're going to chat about a variety of things, take your calls or your messages, and try to make some sense of what's going on in this world. Although I don't promise I can do too much of that. This crazy world we're living in. For all of you living in the South, howdy, y'all. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday. Hope you're enjoying the weekend. Weather's getting nice. Everybody wants to be outside.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's, for us New Yorkers, we were teased a little bit with some really nice weather. We've got some winds moving in,
It's always that last bit of winter that never wants to give up. So usually in March, we have a little bit of nonsense. And it's weird, too, because for so many years, we haven't had really a spring. When I was a kid, I remember having, winter lasted this long, and then April, May was warm and nice in 60s and 70s, and it was beautiful. Then you hit summer. Now it seems like we just go from winter to spring.
I know.
There's no sort of buffer zone in between, which...
And it's like we're merging with London a little bit. Rain.
I don't mind. I like summer the most, so...
Yeah. Shout out. I see you in the chat, Log 23, MAGA Metal Dude, Jesse D. What's up?
All our regulars, our buddies.
Oh, yeah, LFA, baby.
LFA, absolutely. Thank you to all our LFA and Rumble people and everybody else, YouTube, all the other platforms we're on, which I seem to keep forgetting the names of, Spotify and all this and that. Let's see what some of the literature shows here. 29 infections and diseases can raise the risk of dementia, according to a new study. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise, really, to anybody, but there are infections that cause other problems. Epstein-Barr virus, which we call mono, which most kids get between kindergarten and college, is linked with MS, lupus, 24 cancers, plaque in your blood vessels. So this occurs. We've heard about the papillomavirus causing cervical cancer, and the list goes on and on. But dementia, where you're losing your focus, concentration, your memory, recognition of things, is pretty severe. And it seems to be happening in the younger population now, where it was happening in the older population before. And I'm sure that's a risk or a cause or sign of risk factors for other things, injectables, bad reactions to medications and such. This is a great study done through Finland, and they're talking about severe infection increases the risk for dementia, bacteria, virus, and certainly to an extent some parasite infections, although those are not the most common compared to virus and bacteria. Researchers looked at people that were 65 and older, and this study was done between 2017 and present day. Over 62,000 people were involved, 312,000 controls. An infection 5 to 6 years before dementia diagnosis seemed to be significant, or the most significant. 29 different diseases, of course, heart disease, vascular disease, diabetes, all of the things that you would expect to affect the blood vessels feeding the brain lots of oxygen, vitamins, minerals, and hormones. And remember, this study doesn't talk about hormone decline, which is a major, major contributor to changes in your brain, men and women as you get older, and certainly with dementia. Aluminum exposure, heavy metal, and other metals as well. So it's giving us a good peek at one component, but not, as I say, all the rest. So now the suggestion is to try to find people early on, those that are having some odd or unusual infections or severe infections, and then track them and look at their cognitive function, track their cognitive function, year to year in your office and see what you find. There's a great test that we have called the brain scan, where you wear a funny looking stretchy cap. It's got leads on it that go to a computer. You press a button as fast as you can when you're asked a question. It's meant to look at the speed in all the different parts of your brain. Great test. There's a mini mental status exam, which is a one-page form that doctors can use where you ask a patient questions, ask them to repeat no ifs, ands, or buts. Ask them to draw a circular clock and put the numbers in perfect place around the clock. A lot of people can't do that. So there are different ways to see whether or not a person's recognition or memory or focus is changing. What's the day of the week? What month is it? What's the next holiday coming up? You ask questions that the average person would know, and that all takes into account and part of the picture. People with Alzheimer's gene may lower their risk by eating more meat. Cool study, especially for people who love meat. So there are different things called alleles. Alleles are components of brain function, cellular mediators that help to make lipoproteins. And there are different types. There's 2, 3, 4, etc. The ApoE4 allele is the strongest risk factor for developing Alzheimer's disease. So what they're saying is those individuals who had the least amount of meat, that had the ApoE4 and 3 variants, had twice the risk of dementia than those who did not have those variants. And as they further looked into the picture, those individuals who had higher intake of meat, depending upon where they lived, depending upon their diet and what they liked, had a far lower risk of dementia. So this was published in JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association. So pretty cool that they're able to see this. I think that what you eat may influence or change what that gene expression may hold for you. So this is sort of a new idea, thinking that, you could never change your genes, you could never change this or that, but now they're saying that it might be able to be done. There are a lot of people that I see that come into the office and they like the idea of the carnivore diet, just having meat, no vegetables, et cetera, et cetera. They feel good, they lose a lot of weight, they have better energy with the exercise, the workout, their bowel function's better. So I'm just watching to see and checking their blood to see what benefits there are if there are drawbacks. And so far, doesn't seem to be many drawbacks. It's just, it might be a little hard just to have meat and nothing else. So I'm not against people trying something that's got, that's safe or that has some interesting outcome, and then look at the research on it. I'm just curious to see how many people do well with it.
Someone just said this is affirming my hate for vegetarians. Could nutrients found in meat like B vitamins, iron, or amino acids probably help with this?
Yeah, that's probably a good part of the picture. B12 and certainly iron help to keep your blood count up. And the iron is the magnet that draws oxygen into your red blood cells to deliver it. But there are a lot of things that I think that are good and specific to this. If you're having organic meat, and the people who are not having organic meat that may have chemicals in it, there are probably 75 chemicals in regular meat that's not organic. There are pesticides sprayed on foods and such. So if you're following the regular Western diet, there's a lot of problems with that. But if you're having organic meat and that's a main staple of your diet, I'm not saying you only need to do that, but if you have some vegetables which are good for, fiber and elimination, and you test your vitamins and your hormones are good, you might be onto something.
Someone said that they thought of us watching a video online of a piece of steak in Italy, and they say that the color of the steak or the meat was just totally different than America. It looked unbelievable.
Yeah, so fortunately, Italy is one of the last great bastions of great, perfect, non-junky, chemical-filled food. And you go all over Europe to a large extent. Their eggs are different. The dairy, the milk, and the cheese is different. Steaks as well. And I remember having steak over there thinking, oh, my God. And this is the regular steak that people can have all day, and it's better than even some of the Wagyu tomahawk steak that I have over here.
It almost looks more like maroon, purplish.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh. They put meat glues here. They put all sorts of colorings and chemicals in foods to make them look good on the shelf, especially if they have to stay there for a little while. But everything that you eat there, you go over there and you have, it's just delicious, and there's no chemicals, no junk. Another reason why we like Moolah Farms, let's just talk about them for a moment, because they've got some great meat, great chicken, chicken breast, ground chicken, thighs, drumsticks, all sorts of different types of meat from the cow, ground beef burgers, strip steak, sirloin, skirt, London broil, short rib, brisket, T-bone, porterhouse, liver, flank, steak, tenderloin, rib. And I've had these sausages and stuff, but without any chemicals. This is like pure food, people. It tastes delicious. So that's my goal, is not to have chemicals in any of the foods. So this is where I buy food. There are a bunch of different markets that had different things, so depending upon what you like. Molosky's Poultry Farm is out in Brookhaven on 25, right past East Wind Spa. They have terrific duck eggs that are the most delicious. They have venison. They have all sorts of different types of, steaks and meats, and without chemicals or preservatives. So this is what people should eat.
We have a question here regarding, hold on, got a few different directions. So someone said that they've noticed that there are increased, it says, it feels like everyone online is suddenly talking about parasite cleanses. Are parasites actually more common now, or is this just a trend?
It's a trend. I think there are vitamin manufacturers making all sorts of pills and this and that.
I've been noticing that too. I get ads, and it's like, didn't you know that?
And you look at one ad, and all of a sudden you have 100 of the same thing or similar things.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the CDC or any of the statistics, NIH or anything that talks about the occurrence of parasite infections on the rise. But a lot of people think that every headache, every little thing they have, or a palpitation in their heart has to be a parasite, and it's not true. A lot of people think that parasites cause all cancers. It's not possible mathematically. And the years and years worth of taking tumors and testing them, etc., people think that you take a tumor, open it, and they're the parasites. It's just, it's not so. So are there some viruses or bacteria or parasites that may correlate with the creation or distortion that allows something to occur? Maybe. We know about viruses and some of the bacteria, but I don't think it's been documented with the viruses. We need proof. Before we can start saying that there's something occurring, we need some kind of proof.
Okay. How many milligrams of magnesium should I take for anxiety?
Everybody's different, so it would really depend upon your blood test. So if your regular magnesium level is normal, and you look at the red blood cell magnesium, which is a more important test because you could have serum magnesium levels normal, but you don't have enough to fill your cells, like the red blood cell, then you need more. Some people take 100, some people take 400 or 500, 600 a day. So I can't tell you directly do this or do that because I don't know you and I don't have any information on you, but those are variations as to how much you could take, but you should get your testing done. That's why we tell all people your best blood test is going to include looking at your vitamins and minerals, looking at your red blood cell magnesium, potassium, folate, looking at the methylation test to see if you convert B12 or not. So there are things that you'd want to know because you want to fix those with your vitamin recommendation. Some people take 100 milligrams of magnesium and it helps them sleep. Some people need 2 or 3 of them. So it has to be specific to something that you're testing or looking at. And anxiety can come from different things. For men, low testosterone, low DHEA, low thyroid, low IGF-1, the active component of growth hormone, may also correlate with low blood sugar episodes from eating too much carbs. So there are a lot of things that can cause it. I wouldn't want you to think that just taking magnesium is going to change everything for you.
Thoughts on mammograms. Are they safe?
Well, there are a lot of people who don't think they're safe because you're radiating the tissue, compressing it. and causing discomfort. They did side-by-side studies over 10 years, and I had these studies in my office back in the day. Dr. Deckel, who is a brilliant doctor, a good buddy of mine, although I haven't spoken to him in a while, has been doing thermography for many years. And he used to have an office somewhere in Hicksville, I think, but he's also somewhere in the South, maybe Carolinas or somewhere. Smart guy. But thermography is nothing touching your body. You sit there with nothing on your skin. It reads the heat of your breast. So it's an infrared technology. Where you would have persistent heat means more blood vessels bringing more warm blood and therefore more sugar to a potential tumor to feed it more sugar so it grows faster. And when they looked side by side at mammography, which is looking for calcification, and thermography, the thermography picked up things 10 years earlier. So thermography is a better test. No risk. No radiation. Just a picture.
Oh, this is great. So we have a Long Island viewer in the chat. Christina11 says, "I go there. I believe this is referring to Moolah Farms. If I'm correct, they say I go there all the time. I love the turkey breast, so fresh and tastes awesome. Eggs are great too. Let's go."
Yeah, I mean, I only found that a while ago, a few months ago, because one of my patients was talking about it. It's not far from where I live, so I always zip by. The funny thing is, if I go in the afternoon, there's nothing left. I'm sure they put out food every morning. I wish I could ask Christine, the owner, to put something out that says, okay, the food's here, so I know to rush over to get everything that I want. They make great ice cream, just pure ice cream. No chemicals, no garbage. The sausage is terrific. The steaks, the chicken, the whole chicken, it just tastes like something different that you've never had before.
Yeah.
Chicken is supposed to be juicy, moist, have flavor, not like cardboard.
Yeah, and also we did interview Christine on LFA.
Yeah.
I want to say at this point it's probably 3 months ago. So you can check that out on LFA.
Yeah, do that. Very nice. She and her husband, Sal, are great people. I see her every now and then when I go there. And they're busy because they have the Sunday, they're out in Huntington at the market. And then Saturday, they're in Eisenhower Park, and then I think Wednesday in Long Beach. But it's great stuff, great product. I'd much rather trust that than who knows what you're getting anywhere else.
Yeah. What else we got? Talking about how windy it's been over here. Apparently Illinois as well.
Isn't it always windy in Illinois? In Illinois. In
Chicago.
Illinois, 'cause Chicago, yeah. The Windy City.
Oh, no, it's sunny but cold in Illinois. There we go. North Carolina in the house. What's going on? Love it.
I've had friends that run places in the Carolinas. They love it. Nice places either near the beach or near the Outer Banks, wherever that, might be. I think those are areas of land, strips of land between the mainland and the ocean. But they tell me wonderful stories about the place.
Are there differences between red meat, poultry, and fish when it comes to cognitive health?
It's a good question. I remember being young and someone saying in the family, maybe it was our grandmother, that fish was brain food. I mean, if fish is easy to break down. You don't have to do much for it to break down to amino acids. It's got the good fish oil in it, so there's an advantage there. If you're talking about regular beef and regular chicken, not too good because there are 75 chemicals in them. If you're talking about organic, then you probably have a far healthier, type of protein without the junk in it. I'm sure you'll get some iron. I would typically rotate different types of meat, lamb and beef. Some people like pork, chicken. Rotate them around. Just get as organic and as healthy as you possibly can. But it's not going to give you every nutrient you need for your brain.
Oh, shout out. We got $1 donation. So shout out to you. They say Dutch Meadows Farms, Amish Farms delivers to Long Island. we've been looking into the Amish farms, me and Dr. Chris.
Dutch Meadows Amish Farms.
Dutch Meadows Farms, Amish
You
farms.
pick it up on, pull it up on the computer.
Yeah, look at that.
Are they local or are they in Amish country?
Well, I believe it's probably similar to that other one. They bring it in from the Amish.
Yeah, there are a few of my patients told me about that. A few of them just get their meat brought in from places in Pennsylvania that are Amish. Genius.
Here we
Genius.
go. Dutch Meadows. Listen, it's coming, guys. We will meet the Amish soon. We're gonna have them on the show. It's
I would
happening.
do that. That'd be fun.
We're going on the road. Okay, yeah, we got delivery, pickup. Love it. All right.
They deliver out here?
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense. Get like 5 or 6 people together and say, hey, this is what we like, so at least it's worth their while. You can get 5 or 6 people to buy all sorts of stuff and have it delivered. It's great.
Oh, yeah. Would you recommend NeuroSync for a memory boost and brain focus?
NeuroSync.
NeuroSync.
I mean, that's a proprietary name for a product. I don't know exactly what's in it. But things that typically help the brain are phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylcholine. We do that in an IV, by the way.
Oh, you know what?
NAD.
When I Googled NeuroSync, it kind of looks like one of those caps that you were talking about that's in your office, like with the stimulation.
Oh.
It's some sort of cap.
Oh, it's a test. Yeah, so the brain scan test just reads the electric speed of every part of your brain. So that's an important way to see if you're slowing down. But other, nutrients that are good for your brain, as I mentioned, phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylserine, theanine, B vitamins, of course. There are a handful. NAD is terrific for your brain in many ways, but that's injectable. Nicotinamide, adenine dinucleotide. So we do a lot of that.
What are the different ways to clear toxins out of the brain?
There's only one real way that's going to clear toxins, maybe 2. One of them is called calcium EDTA, which is an intravenous treatment that binds to heavy metals and pulls them out through the urine. That's been around for 100 plus years. Glutathione has a protective effect on your brain, but phosphatidylcholine is great because that's what your brain sort of eats up. Your brain's a big fatty organ, so it needs some good fats, and that phospholipid, similar to lecithin, is great for your brain. And people that have done the phosphatidylcholine IV with glutathione, they have better focus, concentration, mood, memory. There is some literature that says it helps to stabilize the membrane, the wall of cells, because that's what the phosphatidylcholine does, with good protein structures as well. We hand that out to people in the office. And I'm trying to think if there are other things. Those are probably the 2 most significant ways to get these bad things out of your system. There's some evidence that pesticides, chemicals, toxins will be bound by the phosphatidylcholine, the PKIV.
I recently got back labs using DMSA, 500 milligrams. The lead level is over the top, and mercury is also high.
So DMSA is an oral, chelating agent. It doesn't bind to every metal. It probably has a little bit better affinity to mercury. But a lot of people have lead and mercury and arsenic and cadmium and aluminum. I see this every day. I like the calcium EDTA because it's a 20 to 30 minute IV, and it binds to each of these things. And we could watch them being removed when you repeat that urine after the IV. After the 10th IV, you can compare the first IV urine and the 10th IV urine and see that those things are being depleted. So that's the science of watching these things get out of your system.
This is a previous, an old comment says, "Oh, I like that. Can I come to your office for the PKIV?"
Sure. The office number is 516-794-0404. Website, drcalapai.com. We'd love to help you out. That's what we're here for.
What is a good cholesterol level, Doc?
In most circumstances, you'd want to get to about 170 for your total cholesterol. Your triglyceride should be 70, HDL 70, LDL 70. So that's the rule of, as I say, 70s, because that puts you in a pretty good range. That typically means that the cholesterol, triglycerides, LDL are probably not creating damage for you. However, we also look at homocysteine, a completely separate risk factor, C-reactive protein, heavy metals, because heavy metals can bind to the LDL, even if the LDL's good in number, and create plaque, a foam cell. So it depends upon the whole picture. The traditional approach has always been a very linear thing. Here's a problem, here's a med. Problem, med, problem, med. All of a sudden you're on a bunch of meds. And there's no mechanism that they typically have to try to get you off the meds or to teach you what your other options are. I'd rather explain it in a way that, yeah, you want these cholesterol numbers to be tight, but also a homocysteine that's close to 1 instead of 15 or 20, C-reactive protein down to 0, no viruses, because viruses like Epstein-Barr, CMV can contribute to plaque in the blood vessels, heavy metals down as much as possible. So it's a combination of things.
So just a follow-up from our, that mention of the farm. This person says, Thursdays I pick it up, Massapequa, 2 p.m. Been getting them for 5 years now. Raw milk, cheese, organic beef, and eggs. I love
from where? From who?
From that.
The Amish.
The Amish one. So it comes from Pennsylvania.
Dutch Meadows.
I love that we have all these Long Islanders in the LFA audience. We love it.
Absolutely.
Strong Island.
And I think, there are people in the audience everywhere. Dog hair all over my clothes.
Classic.
Dogs. I've got to brush every bit of clothing I wear before I leave the house. I'm sure in other states, maybe more so in other states, they have lots of farms where you can go and buy all these things. Because that's where big farms are. These other states, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, further away from the big cities, Midwestern places. Upstate, I know there are a lot of places to get eggs and a lot of the good food because people do that. My mother's uncle, who lived to 100 and something, 102, 105, Jimmy. When I met him, I must have been 18. And we went upstate because his daughter was getting married. And my mom, was her uncle. So when he lived in Brooklyn, like my mom and her whole family did, everybody was there. And then he moved upstate, set up a farm, gorgeous old farmhouse on a big hill, something out of the movies, Not scary like The Shining, but it was kind of like that building. And he had a massive meadow and pasture where the cows roll over the place and, chickens and ducks, all sorts of animals. So I was like, how cool is this? And they made dinner that night, and we were like, oh, my God. How come this is so different than everything else that we had to eat? So it's a blessing.
It is. Okay, what do we got? Husband had prostate removed in 2018 and has only been on thyroid medication for over 12 years. He's 71. Should he take testosterone? His muscle tone has greatly diminished, memory somewhat, ED as well.
So research says that 5 years clear of prostate cancer with no recurrence, you could start taking testosterone again. What we typically do for people is a nice, easy way to do it where we write a prescription to take a pellet under your tongue. It's 40 milligrams, and it could be less. You take that pellet, let it dissolve under your tongue, you get a day's worth of testosterone. Doesn't last 24 hours per se, but at least you're getting some. And then we track the levels, check the PSA, 3% PSA, and most people do really well.
Okay, got a few old ones, so I'm backtracking a bit. But for olive oil, do you take tablespoon or teaspoon, and do you do it in the morning or afternoon or night?
Tablespoon, either morning or night. If I'm busy in the morning and my dogs are doing their battle royale, rolling all over the floor in the kitchen, and it's hard for me to get around them, sometimes I forget. But I forget in the morning, I do it at night. I love olive oil, always have. There's something about the taste of good olive oil, on foods, and either, without.
A little shot here and there.
I went, where did I go the other day? La Pizzetta is a great Italian restaurant right near 106 and Northern Boulevard, right behind where Rothman's is. And I've been going there once a week forever because the food's great, the prices are great, and the owners are both friends of mine, and, it's just the go-to place. And I had lentil soup the other day that was out of this world. But took a little of my grated cheese, I put it on, grabbed the olive oil, swirled it in there, so I was getting olive oil with, the lentil. It was terrific. So I like it. I mean, I put olive oil on all sorts of things.
We put it on everything. Spirulina, chlorella, also good for heavy metals.
Not really. I can tell you why, because as many people have talked about spirulina, chlorella, zeolite, saunas, when we test people when they first come in with the urine after an IV and you see metals coming out and they opt to do that treatment, or they have been doing the treatment, if tons of metals are coming out, they're not being removed by the treatment. And if they start that treatment after the first urine, after the IV, and we want to see what happens, and they do that for a month, sometimes 2 months, and you recheck, and the metals are still high, I don't see that those things are working. The question would really be, how does chlorella and spirulina or zeolite or any of these things bind to the metal somewhere in your body and then pull it somewhere and then see it get out of your body? You don't have any of that at all with those things, but you have it with a calcium EDTA. You need proof.
I'm trying to figure out what we were discussing during this comment, but the comment is, used to be 300 back in the 50s. Once they lowered the number of heart attacks.
Cholesterol.
Once they lowered the number, heart attacks went up, question mark?
There is some information coming out of Europe that says that people that have high cholesterol don't get dementia and a lot of other things.
Wow.
And that makes sense to me because people that are taking the statins for high cholesterol and forcing the cholesterol down are wiping out CoQ10, which is bad for your muscles, your brains, your mitochondria, every part of your body. So there are people all over the world, certainly in Italy as well, who have very high cholesterol, no plaque. So maybe this is something that we were lied to. Yet another thing that we were lied to about.
Unbelievable.
I know a lot of people have high cholesterol and not a speck of plaque. You do need cholesterol for hormone production, brain function. So I think we're going to hear more and more about this because I've seen a good amount of it, in the media and the news and researching it. So it may be that we need to have some cholesterol there for normal function. It's there for a reason.
Wow.
And we could also say that sugar and vitamin deficiency are probably as bad a culprit for plaque as anything else, including cholesterol. Kilmer McCulley, a brilliant doctor in New England, was doing research on homocysteine and found that homocysteine was more of a plaque risk or promoter than the cholesterol and the fats. But he got pushed away because the only treatment for homocysteine was correct your vitamins. They couldn't make money on it, so they went to cholesterol. They made a gazillion-dollar industry of it.
Wow. My daughter suffers with migraines, sometimes affects her vision. Currently on monthly Emgality, 120 milligram injection. There's been no improvements after months. Any suggestions? Maybe try acupuncture? Question.
Well, I would get off the medication if it's not working, but I can tell you overwhelmingly the majority of patients I see that have migraine have a delayed allergy. So if you eat something today, now, it's being broken down into tiny pieces in your stomach. It gets into your blood, and small amounts of it get into your blood. If you're binding them to antibodies, that could create an allergic reaction, but it doesn't have to happen a half hour, 2 hours. It could take 3 hours, 3 days, or a week for that symptom to hit once enough antibodies hit that threshold, antibodies with the allergen. So we've seen tons of people with all sorts of weird symptoms that didn't seem to make sense. You'd expect that if you had a food allergy, your stomach would be affected, bloating, indigestion. Yeah, loose bowel movement. We see it all the time. But eczema, very commonly correlated, rashes and pimples on your skin, your face, to food allergy, but migraine as well. So I take the history, examine the person, get the big blood test done, look at metals, look at everything, hormones, vitamins, blah, 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 and look at the allergy picture. And whatever shows up in the allergy picture, take it out of the diet and watch to see what happens.
We got Charlotte in the chat from Texas wondering if you have offices in other states. Smiley face.
I would like to have an office in Texas because I could see myself walking around with a cool pair of cowboy boots.
Oh, I would love.
Cool cowboy hat. Sort of envisioning that I look something like Tom Selleck in that, what was that Australian movie he was in? Quigley Down Under. Of course, I'd have to wear lifts, get myself up taller and get my big full, I had a Tom Selleck mustache. A big full Tom Selleck mustache.
Seeing the photos.
No, I love Texas. Texas is great. I love going down. My uncle lives in San Antonio. Love going down there, having some breakfast tacos, Riverwalk, great place, great restaurants. It's difficult. If for some reason I become fortunate enough to win the lottery, then I would probably have a nice house or a nice place in either Texas or Florida. Be fun.
Nice and red. Red state. Well, listen, when you go to Texas next, maybe bring the chelation machine because she's interested.
Cool.
DHEA, your thoughts?
DHEA is dihydroepiandrosterone. It's an important hormone. On one hand, we could say it's an intermediary between testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. It's important for mood. It's important for stress response. Obviously, it helps to blanket your stress. It's good for your hair, your skin, your nails. Most people have low DHEA when they pass the age of 30, especially now because people are so stressed out about everything. They're using more than they could make. But when you correct DHEA, people feel good. They feel calm. They feel a little more relaxed. If the DHEA in women at the right dose is helping to make a little bit more testosterone, that's great because women should be at 40 for their testosterone, and most women come in the teens or almost single digits as they get older. So you want to have all of these things on board. They were there your entire life, and they were great when you were younger. You just want to bring them back so you maintain those youthful functions. It's a good vitamin to take for sure.
Oh, you got some San Antonio fans as well. They want you there.
Little San Antonio fans.
We're going to have to get on the plane, Doc.
So years ago when I went down there to see my uncle, I was dating a girl up here whose family was down there. I called my uncle, told him I was coming down, so he was excited. And right across from where this girl's family lived, in a place called Green Crossing, Gruene, which, we pronounce it differently. My uncle told me where my first cousin, Gina, lived. And so I was with the girl at her family's house. I said, you know where this address is? And they looked at me like, yeah.
Oh, no.
See that house over there across the field where kids play? That's the house. I'm like, what? So me and my inimitable self, I decided to walk across the field. I kicked the ball at the kids a little bit. I didn't kick the kids, kicked the ball at the kids. Kick the ball, yeah. And knocked on the door. And I hear some moving around, and she goes, and I knocked on the door again. I rang the doorbell. I was being obnoxious. She's like, all right, who the hell is it? And I just stood there, and she's like, it took her a minute because for her to think about seeing me at her front door, because the last time I saw her was years ago, she's like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. So we hung out and told the whole story. We had a lot of fun.
What are the odds?
But it's a great little town. And they have these things, these breakfast tacos that are out of this world.
Oh.
They put, chorizo, beef, onions, this, that. I mean, you name it, they put it into the breakfast taco. And they're delicious.
Love a good breakfast
I
taco.
said, why can't they make breakfast tacos up here?
They've been coming around, but we're way behind.
So good.
Good Mexican deli give you a nice breakfast taco. That's hilarious. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, what a small world. And then her sister, my other first cousin, was managing a band, a rock and roll band in Austin, Texas. So we said, hey, let's go see Erica. So we drive to Austin, myself, my girlfriend at the time, my cousin, and I sat by the bar with my girlfriend, and Gina walked over to Erica and said, hey, guy thinks your band is great, wants to buy you a drink. She goes, oh, great. So she comes over. I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know, in my New York style attitude. She looks at me and she's like, again, took her like a few minutes. Oh, my God, how are you? So, yeah, we had a great weekend. We hung out a lot. Went out to dinner to a place that served antelope and all these exotic, meats. It was a great place. It was fun. But everybody's friendly in Texas. You can't walk down the street with like 30 people say, hey, how are you? Hello, hey, how? I'm like, hey. It's like,
that's the best. But I mean, I think that's just leaving the tri-state area. Everyone's so nice, you almost think you're in trouble.
It's true. Because when you're in the tri-state area, people look at you to see if you have weapons.
Yeah.
And you look at them to see if they have weapons.
Just get into an elevator. It's like, oh, I just made a friend. Okay.
Yeah, they're so friendly. And you ask them a question, they could be doing something, say, you know what? I'll drive you over there. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They're going to drive me to the place? I mean, they've
could be
got
a
busy
serial
day.
killer.
They got something going on. Just follow me. I was like,
you trust me already?
yeah. It's like, wow.
What are you, nuts?
That's good living, I'm telling you.
All right. What else we got here? Where do you recommend purchasing supplements such as DHEA and D3 for purity, proper testing, etc.? Also, what do you recommend for liver detox?
So my scenario is a little bit different than most. I don't rely on stores to buy product. We have a manufacturer that makes the product that we request. So for patients, when you come in and I look at your blood test, I won't put them in the pack myself, but I'll check off what I want to put into this blister pack, and the manufacturer puts the vitamins, a cholesterol vitamin combination, D, K2, probiotic, magnesium if you need. Based upon your blood test, we put that together for you. So it makes it easier, more direct. It's not taking 50, 60 pills a day like some people end up doing because they hear every little sales pitch and they buy everything. It's just, and it hits the nail on the head because a month after I make the recommendation, we'll retest the blood to prove that their vitamins are perfect. For anybody who lives anywhere across the country, you could call the office, set up a telehealth visit. We'll send you a prescription and get your blood done, go over your blood work, and then put you on vitamins. And it can't be more accurate than that. And we've made it that way on purpose.
Boom. Ooh, it was a little loud. Sorry. Boom.
Boom.
Love it.
Like bam with emerald.
We got food dye is big culprit for migraines.
Food dye, yeah. All chemicals in foods are big culprits for all sorts of bad things. What I've been saying in my practice, I say a lot of things. Who's in charge of putting all this crap in the foods, the chemicals, the foods? Is there someone who says, oh, yeah, let's put this dye in. Yeah, I know it's bad, but let's put it anyway because it makes the food look better or last on the shelf longer. What is that? Who's in charge of that?
Yes, everyone in that board meeting, they have no families that they care about. They just want the world to be poisoned.
Who is in charge of putting all that stuff into food? Because food is initially natural, but then they've got to put crap into it. So who are the ones that decide that? I know they're trying to put the mRNA injectable material into steak, into all these other foods, so that people could get that, from eating those foods. But it'd be hard to say that when you cook something, that those would be stable. You'd think that would be destroyed by cooking it. Who knows? It's a ridiculous world.
Ridiculous. I'm just going through older questions. 100% correct. Look into seed oils and homogenized dairy. Homogenized milk
seed oils are bad.
Absorbed into the bloodstream, causing plaque to build. Just conversations going on in the chat.
Pure, regular, healthy, good source, natural, organic food. Like if I get up early on a Friday to go work out, if I go to Moolah Farms first, I've got to have my Uncle Giuseppe's thick bag,
Yes.
that is insulated, put a big bag of ice in there because
Few
if I'm
hours
going
out.
to work out, I may not get back home for a while. So if I'm not going there, I may go work out first, do a weights workout at Bev Francis gym. That's the greatest gym ever. Gigantic, but it's a real deal, bodybuilder gym. Not people on their phone taking pictures and whatever else. You're not allowed to do that there. And you've got a lot of serious men and women, and some of the women are in the craziest shape I've ever seen. Fitness people, workout people. Some of them do competitions and stuff, and more power to them because some of these people look unbelievable. They're in unbelievable condition, and they're doing the diet right, as we talk about all the organic stuff and go to the farms and such. But, maybe I'll do that first and then do a kickboxing, MMA workout, then go to Moolah Farms, go home, drop everything in the freezer, and then go to do a karate workout. That's what my Fridays have been. I got to kind of put things in place here and there. And it's interesting, too, because I decided a couple of months ago, okay, this year, 2026, I'm going to push myself. I'm going to see how hard and how many times I could work out and what would happen. It's either going to kill me or I'm going to feel great. Luckily, it didn't kill me. And I feel awesome. So now my goal is, Tuesday nights we have a full contact karate class. We work out there, banging ourselves around. It's a great workout, great guys. They've become wonderful friends, comrades and stuff. Then Wednesday, Thursday, I'll go to Bev's. Friday, Bev's, then the workout right after that, then a karate workout. Then Saturday, gym. Maybe Sunday I'll take off, go to church, and go see my mom. Sometimes I got a long list of foods that she needs, and I got to go to the supermarket. Up and down the aisles, buying tons and tons of stuff. And the people at the supermarket are really nice. They're like, wow, mom's appetite's really good. I'm like, yeah. Because I tell them, because I go in there all the time, I buy some stuff for myself, but I'll buy stuff for her and on Saturday, Sunday morning right after church. Like, oh, what is she getting today? But it's great. And then Monday again is going to be a gym workout and a karate workout. So I just keep doing it.
Savage. Saying in the chat, you're looking a little more buff these days, Doc.
Yep, getting there. At some point, I'll wear a polo shirt, my Yankee shirts. I'm due to go back to Yankee Stadium. We got to go to a game.
Hey, listen, they're two for two.
Yep, I'm going to go to a game and restock my Yankee wardrobe.
Yeah, it's time.
Because for years, every time I would go with my friend Bob, even back when A-Rod was playing and Jeter and those guys, I would get a cool Yankee jacket, which had a zip out. It was either a warm jacket with a zip shell or Yankee shirts and this and that. And, just need some new stuff.
We're going to re-up. We're due for a game, me and you, Doc.
We should pick a Monday night because the traffic to the stadium is nothing.
Yeah.
Literally, my friends and I meet at Whole Foods. It takes 40 minutes to get to Yankee Stadium on a Monday night, which is nothing.
Boom.
Only traffic you get is that cross Bronx garbage.
Always.
But it's fine. And then, obviously, you leave before the game is over, so you don't have to worry about the traffic.
Exactly. 7.5 innings.
We got to look. Let's look for a Monday night game, man. We got to do that.
You got it, Doc.
Also, let's look for a team that's not that good.
Yep.
Because then we'll get better seats. Maybe we'll get the legend seats.
Love it. I love where your head's at.
You have to figure out how to play the game.
The prices. They won't win. They don't win.
I took my nephew Christian to a Yankee game years ago, and he was probably 15 or 16, big Yankee fan, big everything fan. And I've had cool patients in my office over many years. One of them is one of the biggest football players I'd ever known. And so we're in Yankee Stadium. We're about to walk into the place to buy some merch. And I hear, Doc. And I'm like, oh, God. Because you don't know who it is. I turned around. It was Tony Siragusa. And he was gigantic linebacker on the Ravens. One of the biggest guys you'll ever meet. I've never seen anybody eat more food than him. I used to go to dinner with him and a couple of other guys. And he would have 5 or 6 appetizers, 5 or 6 entrees. But I'm telling you, he would work out all day, and the amount of energy he would need to eat was crazy. So my nephew's like freaking out, looking over. He goes, "Oh my God!" He goes, Tony Sirigusa? I'm like, "Yeah." Went over, gives you a big hug. Literally, he's as big, if not bigger, than a grizzly bear. So when a guy that big hugs you, you're like, "Oop!" You come up off the ground.
Yeah, your eyes pop
He took
out a little
pictures
bit.
with Christian. Yeah, it was great. So he was a sweetheart, rest his soul. But yeah,
It's time.
it's time. The time has come. Do we have any Yankee fans out there? We might.
I'm waiting for the chat to update. Let's see.
Yeah, let's kind of call out from where people are if they're across the country.
Yeah, we got all over the place. Someone just said, "Oops, I forgot to check for the time difference." But hello, Dr. Chris and Frankie and everyone.
Howdy.
Where are you calling from? Mary I am. 63 just started Taekwondo in January.
Awesome.
Love it.
Good for you. Good for you.
That is not easy.
I thought I was
Make
a
sure
little
you
late.
stretch.
Yeah, totally. It's all about stretching. Every day stretch. I'll put my foot up on a table or a chair or something and stretch. You got to stretch every day. I thought I was late to it. I took it in college, but then I got into medical school, so I couldn't continue. I got to Greenbelt, I think. Then when I was 48, I started training again, 47, something like that. And my lead instructor, Bob, would come to my house. I'd go to his house. We train, and he's the head of our style, so he's a 10th degree. We call it Hanshi. But, he'd been doing it for the better part of 50 years. So train. Then I started going to the school. I'm going to school ever since. It's like, 20 years. It's great. I love it. I only wish I would have started earlier.
Maybe I gotta join you, Doc.
I'm telling you, it's amazing.
We got plenty of Yankee fans in the chat. Seaford, Long Island in the chat. I am an O's fan, but also Rays fan since I live in the Florida Panhandle. Listen, just go down to Tampa, spring training. Go hang out with the
It's
Yankees.
nice down there.
Just kidding.
Tampa, St. Pete's, very nice. I was there once for a conference.
What else we got? We got Rockford, Illinois in the chat.
Cool.
But we got Yankee fans from Illinois. We love that.
Cool.
Good afternoon, everyone. I see you.
Did I mention the Fat Joe?
You have not mentioned Fat Joe.
So a few years ago, I was down in the Bahamas at a friend's house, and this guy comes walking over to me, very outgoing, gregarious. "Hey, how you doing? How have you been?" I'm like, "Oh, I know this guy." I'm like, "Hey, what's happening?" I didn't really remember him, but I probably met him, with my friends somewhere because there's always a lot of people around. He goes, "What's doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, same old." It's very vague. And then someone else was walking by. "Hey, Fat Joe, how are you?" I'm like, that's Fat Joe. Right. So we just sat down and talked. His wife and daughter were there. The nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. We hung out. I was there for a week. It was terrific. We went out to dinner with a whole group of people. My friend Kenny, rest his soul, lived a very big life. He would take 40 people to dinner at the restaurants at Bahamar. And he'd call up, and they would get tables for 40 for him. And we go to, the sushi restaurant, all over the place. But he was so nice. He had a bad knee and I think a couple of other issues, but we did stem cells for him. He said, "Look, I'm going to take you to a game." I said, great, because he's best friends with all those guys, especially Sabathia. So I drive to Yankee Stadium. I park the car. There's nobody around. I'm like, what? I walk over, Babe Ruth Plaza usually is teeming with people. Then I see on the banner, CC Sabathia Charity Softball Game. I'm like, oh, wow. How cool is that? He calls me on the phone. I meet him by the Legends entrance area. I go in there. I got his arm around me. He pushes me through this red curtain thing. And now I'm on the red carpet and people are taking pictures. And I'm looking around going, why are they taking pictures
How did
of
I
me?
get here?
Yeah. So then I was next to Sabathia, put his arm around me, got a picture. "Hey, Doc, how are you?" Blah, blah, blah. Another unbelievably nice guy. But, he's got to be 6'7", so he's way, way taller than me. Probably like an inch taller than me. But, I hung out with him, and Tino Martinez was there, and then Mickey Rivers and Betances, and I get on the field, so I'm taking batting practice. We're doing softballs. I'm hitting some of the softballs over the left field fence. Then I meet Judge. It's like, wow, this is the coolest. Stanton. Everybody was there. Gregorius, and they're just the nicest group of people. I'm like, this is so cool. These are guys that I watch all the time, and they're the nicest guys. So we had the best time. I was very thankful.
Those are the good days too. I miss CC.
Yeah, he was
I
awesome.
miss the whole old crew. Those guys are famous for using all the anti-aging stuff, HGH. Why not? They're amazing. A-Rod was in trouble for going to Florida, getting HGH question. Yeah, it got a little. There's actually a good documentary on A-Rod that came out. I forget what it's on. It's like the MLB. They always do the documentary.
It's interesting because there were people who had documented low levels of testosterone, like Jambi, and he was under doctor's care. He never got in trouble.
Yeah.
So some people they vilified, some people they didn't.
Yeah. I think it was all because they got the one doctor, and A-Rod was one of them. Was one of the clients. I think we got Chinese in the chat. I can't tell you what that is.
Chinese lettering?
Yes, actually. Never seen that before. My husband was a New Yorker. Now I have a tiny New Yorkie. 9 months old, Yorkie, 2 pounds, 11 ounces. Oh, that's great. Love that.
Yorkies are cute dogs.
Very cute.
All dogs are cute. I see these things on Instagram. I'm like, oh my God, I got to follow this dog. Follow that dog breed. There's one that I follow called Kineluda's Kennel. I think it's in Russia. And they have these Tibetan Mastiffs.
I think I've seen that.
See how big those things are?
Yeah.
It's like a big ball of fluff. But they're
and the
gorgeous.
one comes out and it's like dominant, and the other one,
Yeah,
they all
but they're
bow.
enormous.
Yeah.
I like big dogs. They never bark. Then another one that I follow is Myrtle Beach Safari. It's this place in Myrtle Beach where it's really cool. We have to go. Where you hang out with the lions and tigers and ligers, which is 3 times the size of a lion or a tiger. Liger is as big as this table. And you hang out with elephants and monkeys, and monkey will sit on your shoulder, you feed it. It's all like cool animal interaction.
I did go to one of those zoos where they have, you could play with the baby. I think it was a baby jaguar and a baby tiger I played with. And this was in Mexico. Okay. So maybe the rules are a little bit different there. These things were definitely doped up a little bit,
Yeah.
But the strength on the little baby, it's a baby. Yeah. But the strength on the claws, it was like, get this thing off me. It's scratching the heck out of me.
Yeah. Hey, look, they
are cute.
Serious apex predators.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're grown up in captivity, it's a little different, but, they're strong animals. There's no reason for animals in the wild not to be strong, because that's their existence,
Yeah, it just seemed like
pretty
they were
cool.
just trying to figure out how to kill me.
Exactly.
All right, jugular, boom.
Let's see this guy. Well, innately, lions and tigers have the understanding to go and sort of wrap their arm around the back of an animal and then put their throat on the neck. And you see this in all these Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom shows, or any of these old shows, or even the newer shows on how these animals live. They do that because that's the takedown. They'll grab the left leg, but if they can get to the throat and bite the throat, you're done.
Wow.
Something that's developed in nature, I guess, over thousands of years.
We got a lot of New Yorkers here. All right, Bayport, South Shore, Suffolk County.
Bayport had a really cool restaurant on the water I went to a while ago. Big outside deck. A lot of people, good food, good seafood. I forget the name of it.
We'll see.
Let's see if our Bayportian...
Bayportian. What else we got? Oh, this is about the Yorkie. She is a lot more affectionate than my New Yorker husband was. A little rough around the edges.
Stands to reason.
All right, what do we got? Just waiting on the response. Chat's relaxed a little bit. Miramar Beach in the chat. Emerald... Oh, has the most beautiful beaches. Miramar Beach. Where's Miramar Beach? Miramar.
It's either Florida or California. No? Miramar Beach.
It helps the immune system. I use my Samorlin to 0.15 finally.
Samorlin's great for you.
Just trying to make sure I don't miss anyone. I know I got you YouTube. I'm always forgetting you YouTubers on a
Tubers.
beautiful Rumble stream.
The tubers, the rumblers. I had a patient today where we put her on Samorlin 2 months ago, and that's a precursor to IGF-1, just like growth hormone is a precursor to IGF-1. And IGF-1 is good for memory, focus, concentration, hair, skin, nails, fat burning, muscle endurance and strength with exercise, a whole bunch of things, mood. And this young girl works out a lot. And she's married. I don't know if she has kids, but very good shape. And I said, so how are we doing? She goes, you have no idea. I'm like, uh-oh. She said, I feel like I'm 20 years younger. I said, really? She said, I started doing the Samorlin at night when we go to bed. I sleep like a baby. My memory is great. My hair is growing faster like it used to. I got to cut my nails more often. My endurance and strength with the workouts are great. You know, she says, I feel like I've lost that older feeling, and now I'm functioning like I did, 20 years ago. I said, all we did was take you from bring you to where you were before. You had great levels before, and now your levels have dropped. You've lost a lot of that good function. Now we're just bringing it back. There's nothing more natural than that, giving you something your body's had your entire life and keeping it there. Sometimes people do 2 months on, a month or two off, 2 months on, a month or two off, so that you regain all of that strength and improvement.
Wow. True anti-aging right there.
Yeah. She's lost, I don't know, like 15 pounds, and she has strong, dense muscle. You shake your hand, and, she's doing great. Very proud, Because if I can give people a couple of ideas and say stuff that makes sense and they follow through with it, they do beautifully.
Someone just said, what is this that the doc is talking about? How is it spelled and what is it?
So, growth hormone, which is a molecule that you have a lot of at birth, allows you to create your height, your bone length, your mass. People that don't have a lot are shorter. People that have a lot, as you're growing up before your bones close at 19 or so, are very tall, like basketball players. So it does many things. It repairs your body after a workout. It helps sleep, helps your skin, your hair, your nails, fat burning, cholesterol burning, activation of muscles with exercise. Does a lot of things. And if your levels have dropped down and your levels are 50 or 75 when they should be close to 300, if you walk it back to that number and you hold it there for a while, all those good things come back. So growth hormone converts to IGF-1, which is the blood test that we do, and so does Samorlin. Growth hormone is expensive. Samorlin is less expensive. So if real growth hormone is anywhere between $1,800 to $3,000 a month, now the more expensive one is a special pen where you put the needle on, you click it, you give yourself the shot, take off the needle, throw it away, put another needle on the next night. Samorlin comes in a little bottle. We show you how to pull a little bit of the liquid out with a syringe, give yourself a shot, and you're good. So people rave about it because you're bringing back the function you used to have. Nothing abnormal about it, not a drug you've never seen like so many prescription drugs are, but you're walking your body back to where you were.
Someone wants to know how long the telehealth appointment is.
It depends. The initial telehealth appointment could be 20 minutes to a half hour, depending upon what people have going wrong. We document all of that. Some of the follow-up visits are less because we already know they're on a plan. We're just rechecking the blood. We can go over the blood and say, yeah, everything's great. Your cholesterol's lower. Your IGF-1 level's great. You've lost weight, so it varies.
And just with the previous conversation, someone just wants to clarify. So it's HGH question mark?
It's similar to HGH.
Okay.
So HGH becomes IGF-1, Samorlin becomes IGF-1. Ipamorelin, tesamorelin become IGF-1. Just a slightly different molecule.
Got it. All right. All right. That we're up to date on questions. Believe. You're very welcome, Khalees Sully in the chat. I'm thinking of seriously working out thanks to Dr. Chris. Love that.
Good. We want everybody to do something every day in a perfect world. So for some people, they pedal an exercise bike in the house and watch an old movie or a new movie. Old movies are better.
Fact.
You could go and walk around your block. Slow, brisk, fast, slow, fast. Keep changing speed. Go out 6, 7 blocks, make a left, go to the school, do a lap around the track. Any number of things. Yoga, Pilates, weights, elliptical. Just go do something. And if you do it every day, your body will flood oxygen, vitamins, and minerals and hormones to your cells and make it work better. If we do the blood test for those things and now are fine-tuning and perfecting your vitamins, then it's a whole new world. It's a phenomenal result. Same thing with hormones. So once we fine-tune your picture, and most people can do it easily through the telehealth visit where you call the office, I talk to you, we get you set up, we get your blood work done, review that, and then you're off to the races. But exercise is probably the most significant thing that you could do to really totally maximize your health.
Someone just said, it's really cool that we can listen to you two and interact with everyone through the chat. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't this a great program?
It's cool. It's great stuff.
We love it.
I like people interacting with each other. One of the funny things we've seen over many years, and even in the East Meadow office years ago, had a lot of older patients, and some of them would ride bikes. All of a sudden, it was like 20 people riding bikes, wearing helmets and all padded up. They would rent a van or a small bus, put their bikes in it, drive to Washington, D.C., and drive all over the city on their bikes. And these are 70-some-odd-year-old people. I said, that's genius. So that's the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Wow.
And people make friends, and all of a sudden they're doing stuff together. I know a lot of people who, when they started walking around the block, either by themselves or with a family member, neighbors are looking out the window like, what's going on? And all of a sudden the neighbor comes out, hey, how you doing? And all of the neighbors walk around the block. Now, there are groups of people that walk every morning. Why not? Makes it more fun. The interesting thing is that those people end up walking for an hour. It's no more half hour, because once they start talking, as people do,
True.
They do it for an hour every day. It's great.
Does Medicare cover telehealth visits?
Medicare covers telehealth visits, regular in-office visits, blood work. So, yes. And telehealth is cool because there are a lot of people who either can't really get up and get out of their house easily, people with injuries or disabilities and stuff. And they love the telehealth because we can talk and chat and talk about everything and things beyond medicine, typically. I usually say you can't get two Italians together, whether it's in person or on the phone, for more than 3 minutes without talking about food, so it happens.
Yeah.
But it's good because you can gather the ideas, the information, the train of thought that I have, get the blood work done, review that, and then you're starting the plan. That's why we're doing this whole hemologics across the country, so people could get that specifically. People can put the information into the computer, have it reviewed by AI that I fine-tuned and created recommendations for vitamins based upon what I've seen. And people can get peptides, telehealth visit, hormone recommendations. Except for the things you have to do in office, IVs, etc., people can get the majority of my good protocols, the anti-aging protocols, right off the bat. Rapamycin, methylene blue. So this is what we're doing with this wonderful telehealth mechanism. Now, I have to say it's not without a great deal of work to make that happen. And Stan, my buddy, partner in Florida, he's a genius. You saw him a week or so ago. He's a genius with coding and AI, and sometimes he has to explain things to me like I'm a little kid to understand what AI is capable of. It's just unbelievable. And a lot of people that I know don't really get it, but there's so much information out there that you could draw from. You just have to ask it the right questions. As we made Hemologics, from my experience and from his ability, we then took fake people, fake blood work, plugged it in, and did a test run on it. And we wanted to see what those fake people said about the program, the AI nurse and the AI doctor, and the whole thing. So when we pressed the button for it to happen, this report came back from the fake people who had fake blood work talking to the AI people on the platform. And I asked him, I said, did you just really do that and have fake people? He goes, yeah, because it gave us some insight that we wouldn't have had otherwise. I said, this is way out of control. Wow. I think it's a great thing, especially for medicine. It goes beyond all basic understanding of how things work. And that's the tip of it, the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. I think it's amazing.
And someone just said in the chat, great for folks who live in areas devoid of health practitioners and as well as practitioners who endorse wellness over big pharma and the medical industrial complex. My area drives the docs away. Exactly.
So years ago, I tried to do something in Canada because unfortunately the suicide rate in Canada is super, super high. So I wanted to make a program called Native MD, where all the Native Americans of every group background would have access. And I don't want to say foolish, semi-foolish, my idea was that you can set up, those photo booths where people go into a photo booth and take pictures?
Yeah.
In the mall and otherwise, wherever you are, Carnival. I said, why don't we build a bunch of those, bigger, more comfortable? A person can go in there with somebody, sit down, get on the computer. They'd have to pre-fill out info, get doctors in whatever area they liked to be the pediatrician for their kids, this, that, dermatologist. Doctors will be available at certain times online. When you have enough doctors involved in it, then people could have someone they speak to right away. And they would get on and do a telehealth video visit with a doctor of their choice and ask questions. If they needed meds, the doctor would set them up for meds. And you'd put these where there are no doctors. So people, instead of traveling 100 miles for a doctor, could travel a mile to a grocery store or a place that you might get, foods or things you might need for your home or your farm or whatever, and you pop these things in there and they would have access. Genius idea.
What stopped it?
I don't know. My friends loved it. I think the powers that be didn't like the idea because it was living outside the administration, the country's
the ecosphere
grasp.
Yeah.
They don't want something done where it helps people and they don't have to rely on the horrible nature of what they're doing over there.
Unbelievable.
I've heard some really horrible things about what Canada's doing with healthcare. Restricting it, it's horrible.
Back to that restaurant question. Was it the OAR?
The one in
Bayport?
Maybe. I remember it was a gigantic outside deck, great food, right on the water, sunny, people having a nice time.
Said maybe Drift 82 or maybe. What else do we have? Someone just said, I am ecstatic at finding this podcast today. It was meant to be.
Thank you.
Listen, we agree it was meant to be. We're glad you were able to find us. We're here every Saturday on LFA and also all week on our personal channels, YouTube, Rumble. Find us at the Optimal Health Program or Dr. Chris Calapai.
That's where we are.
And look for Dr. Chris on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, like our Instagram and Facebook profiles and things. That would be fun. We'd appreciate that. And we're breaking the 300,000 numbers.
We have been.
So that's pretty terrific.
We love it.
Let me see if I could find this restaurant, the Oar.
OAR. I think it's in Patchogue.
If I see it and I remember what it looks like. The Oar.
There's the Oar or Drift 82. Drift 82.
Could be the Oar.
Yeah, I've seen Drift 82 going to Fire Island. It's right by the ferry.
Could be either or. We'll have to figure this out. Then we could recommend them. Good stuff.
I think we're up to date. Chat's relaxing.
Sounds good, people. So, thank you for listening to the program. Thank you for the interaction between each other on the chat. And
Love it.
certainly with us, we love it. We're happy. Tell your friends and family about this. We want to get our viewership up to the 400 or 500.
We want the phone lines off the hook.
1 million count. Yeah, I love what we were doing here, so we have a lot of fun. Call the office, 516-794-0404. Everyone needs to have vitamin levels done. Take a look at the website. You'll see great results with what we're doing with patients. Little update, we're trying to get some connections in the government in D.C. I have a little connection with a patient of mine who goes down there now. We interviewed him, Dominic. He's a judge and a lawyer, and we're trying to get in front of people to be able to help with doing stem cells for wounded veterans. So we're pushing on all fronts.
Oh, yeah.
So we're getting there.
Making moves, Doc.
God bless you all. Have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you next week.